Have you ever stopped to consider why you choose the words that you choose? Bruce Lee said, "Words are energy, and they cast spells. That's why they call it spelling." What does that mean to you? Have you ever stopped to consider what if the words you're saying are changing your outcomes? So our subconscious mind is somewhere around the ages of 5 to 7. Mine's not any older, but it's an emotional part of our mind. Now, if you were trying to convince a 5-year-old that they had to walk 100 miles, would you tell them it was going to be hard and difficult? No. You would inspire hope in them by saying, "Hey, look at that hill over there. Let's see how many steps it takes to get there." Or some other motivational way where you can actually get them moving in the right direction. Otherwise, if you tell them it's going to be hard and challenging, well, you might as well give up right then, because they're going to drop down on the floor and do that kicking and screaming temper tantrum that we discussed before. So every time you tell your brain or your mind and your emotions that something's going to be hard and challenging, you're way more likely to give up before you've even began. What I mean by that is, think of how many times you tell yourself something's going to be hard and difficult. Like, do you feel excited to start the task? What if you just changed the word to challenge? There was one client once, and she said as soon as somebody stated that they were doing a challenge, she almost had to do it. It was almost like she had to prove that she had to do it. Challenge inspires that motivation. So sometimes the words that we're saying can inspire us or motivate us or propel us forward. So if it's a word that's holding you back, then why not change it? In the program called Hypno Babies, the hypnotic childbirth program, we used to teach that, why would they call it hard labor? That doesn't even sound fun. If you think of hard labor, you think of somebody digging in the fields or building a railroad or something that was, governed by somebody else dictating to the slaves that they had to work. So automatically words create these images in our mind that propel us to create change or to stop what we're doing and give up. If you change the word, for instance, in childbirth to birthing time, then all of a sudden it seems a lot different than hard labor. Another word that has powerful connotation is the word pain. Now, many people, even myself, if I'm feeling uncomfortable in my body and I say the word pain 10 times, all of a sudden I can really feel it in the base of my skull, my back starts hurting, and all of a sudden that pain actually makes more pain in my body. There is no positive connotation to that word. If you think of another word like the word anxiety, there is no good connotation to the word anxiety. It just actually makes us feel more intensely nervous. The word anxiety actually propels us into the problem. So a lot of people are like, "Well, Trisha, you can't just be positive all the time." And absolutely, I completely agree. But what if you changed the root word? What if you changed the root word from pain to discomfort? Now, remember when I talked about don't think about a dog? Your mind cannot process negatives. So you first had to think about the dog and then cross it out. So now if we're taking the word discomfort, the root word comfort is what the brain hears, and your mind wants to create more of it. So there's some studies that say that when they use different words, for instance, in pain management, they can actually decrease the amount of pain meds that are given just based on the word that they choose. Because each word elicits an emotional response in the mind and the body, creating a chemical reaction that becomes very real. So why not play with other words that could help you? So again, what does a 5 to 7-year-old love? Words like easy, happy, fun. Change pain to discomfort. If something is going to be a little bit difficult, maybe change that to a challenge or an opportunity for learning. If it's going to cause anxiousness or anxiety in your mind, your body, and your emotions, what if you said you were less than calm? That tells you that you want to be more calm. So how do you want this to go? Would you like it to be funner and easier? Think about the words that you're using and create other words that have more positive mojo that make you want to chase your goals instead of run away from them. So now that you have positive connotation, does that mean everything is going to be positive? No, you're still human. You're still going to have some thoughts that are, let's just say, less than useful. So Shakti Gawain, author of Creative Visualization, said if you're going to have a negative thought, just go ahead and have it and let it pass through your mind. Now we can begin to braid a whole bunch of techniques together that can make this even more powerful. So of course, first of all, just recognize, is what am I thinking useful or unuseful? If it's not, then you can add in the Mel Robbins technique, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop, grab that image in your mind's eye, put it behind your head and make it explode, which I call the bomb technique. And after you're done that, think of how good you will feel, like an anchored image of exactly how good you will feel when you're done. So what does this really look like? A lot of people say, I'm not excited to exercise. Now notice my embedded command there. I am excited to exercise because you cannot hear the word not. But we're just being honest. We're not exactly thrilled about it at the moment. So you're just recognizing that motivation to take action needs to happen in the moment. We need to change the way we're feeling about it. We don't think about it. We count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We grab that image in our mind, make it explode, and you have to add the actual sounds to make it change in your nervous system. And then you can future forward, imagine exactly what success would look like, sound like, and feel like. So you can see yourself completing that workout, you can hear yourself going, yes, I'm done, and you can feel really good that it's already accomplished for the day. So that's a technique that takes a whole bunch of different people's technologies and brings them all into one, to a very powerful technique that can change you in the moment to take action on your goals.